All right, we are back with another video. This time we're doing something a little bit different than we usually do on Monday. Monday is generally reserved for 5 cards you should be buying right now, but instead, we're going to be trying to predict the 5 Starlights in Cyberstorm Access. That's what we're going to be doing. You know, I know, every time a set releases, you can go to your locals, you can talk to your friends, but after the set releases, people will say the same thing. I knew that was going to be a Starlight. I had a feeling that was going to be a Starlight. Of course that's a Starlight. Everybody knows the Starlights after they come out. You don't know the Starlights unless you're willing to write it down and put your name on it. We're going to write it down. We're going to put our name on it. We're going to put it out there. We're going to tell you the 5 cards that we think are going to be Starlights in Cyberstorm Access. It's a little bit of a fun video, but just looking at the cards, we went back, we looked at all of the Starlight sets and what Konami does with the Starlights, how they choose them, and we tried to figure it out as best that we could. Now, couple things about this. When Starlights are revealed, it's always a surprise. There's always surprise cards in there that you're looking at and you're like, why is this a Starlight? Why isn't this a Starlight? So some of the cards we're picking are surprise Starlights because it always is. That's always the case. So just be aware, we're going to be trying to predict the 5 cards that are Starlights. The second thing that you need to know is 2 of them are already known. So the first we've known for quite a while. It's Visa Starfrost. We've known that. In my mind, that's a great pick. If you're going to be running these decks that run off Visa Starfrost in much the same way you did Fallen of Alabaz, it deserves a Starlight Rare. I'm all for it. I also play Scareclaw, so I'm a little bit biased. But also, breaking news this morning is the Gold Pride Chariot Carry is also a Starlight. So, we know 2 of them now. So, Chariot Carry, the Xyz monster, is a Starlight, and so is Visa Starfrost. So, we actually only have 3 to pick now. I planned this when we had 4 to pick, but before we get into that, if you like what we're doing here on the channel, hit that thumbs up like button. It helps the algorithm immensely, as well as subscribe to the channel. We are going up. I think we're 135, something like that, trying to hit that 200 mark. So hit that subscribe button. Much appreciated. Be a part of the community. Now let's get into the 3 remaining Starlights that we're predicting will be Starlight. So I'm going to jump over to eBay because they actually have the cards listed here. Not in Starlight, but they have the cards in picture form where TCG does not. So I'm going to jump over there and bring this up. All right. So the first card we know is Visa Starfrost. The next card that we think is probably going to be a Starlight Rare is the new Firewall Dragon Singularity. It is the cover card. We think that, this is, the whole set was supposed to be support to Cyberus and all of this Firewall support. I think Konami's going to make this a Starlight. And if you want an example of this, go back to Dawn of Majesty. I think it's Dawn of Majesty. And they did that new Stardust, the Stardust shooting dragon, whatever it was. And they made that a Starlight. Everybody was like, that's a horrible Starlight. People will probably complain if Firewall Dragon does get the Starlight treatment. We think that it will. We think this card right here is going to be a Starlight. So, Visa Starfrost, Firewall Dragon Singularity, Chariot Carry, what is the next card? You're going to see a theme here, is that what we've seen is that when Konami picks the Starlights, they generally don't pick two from the same kind of archetype or deck. They generally pick just one, and they seem to try to hit cards from decks that are getting big time support in the set. So Firewall makes sense. Visa Starfrost to go along with the Manadeum deck makes sense. So those two would already be covered. The next one that we're looking at is Branded or Alabaz, and we think that it's going to be this one. We think that they're going to go with Albion the Sanctuary Dragon. I don't know how they don't make this a Starlight, but it does bring up a problem. And that is that there are 3 really good cards in this set for Branded that would fit that Starlight mode. There's a Synchro Dragon that you would think would be a really great pick. In addition to that, you have Quem, the waifu, the one that everybody thinks is going to be a Starlight. I don't think that it's going to be a Starlight. I think it's this one. I think Albion, the Sanctuary Dragon, is the one that's going to be the Starlight and not Quem. Now, if Quem comes out and it is not a Starlight, a lot of people are going to be angry. They're going to be surprised. But we think that you should expect it. We think that this is the Starlight. And we do not believe that they're going to give 2 Starlights in one set to the Branded deck. That's just our opinion. It could easily be Quem, but we think that it's this one. So moving on from there, you get to the kind of the last one, because we already know the Gold Pride. But the last one we think is actually going to be quite a big surprise. And we think that it's going to be an Ultra getting the Starlight with Ringo Worm. And the reason for this is if you go back and you look at the Starlights from the sets, they're never all secrets, or at least rarely all secrets. There's usually Ultras and some Supers in there. And oftentimes Konami dips down into those cheaper decks and gives those players a chase card. A good example of this, I think it was Darkwing Blast made the Ninja card a Starlight. And nobody liked it except for Ninja players, but they loved it and it gave them something to chase after. This card is very, very good, and it helps support a variety of decks. It's going to help Sword Soul. It's going to help Bestial. I think that you can play this in Dragon Link and it'll help Dragon Link. This card is really good. It's going to help a variety of decks. I think it makes sense for Konami to make this card a Starlight because it would give a lot of people something to chase after. So that means that we don't think Quem is going to be a Starlight. We don't think Lulu, the Branded Dragon, is going to be a Starlight. We don't think Chaos Angel is going to be a Starlight. Those 3 are going to make a lot of people angry and disappointed. We also don't think that the Pearlies are going to get a Starlight. From what I could see, I don't see a time that Konami has ever taken a common, because the Pearly cards in Cyberstorm Access are commons, both of them. I think there's 2 and they're both commons. We have not seen a case where Konami took a common and upgraded it to a Starlight in the same set. So it would be a surprise, a shocker, a stunner if Konami upgrades the Pearlies to Starlight. In addition to that, there were a couple other cards that we thought could fit this mold. The Super Heavy Samurai card that is Can't remember the name of it, but it's a super rare that could easily come in as a Starlight, do the same thing that this card is doing, give the super heavy players something to chase after. But we think that this is broader and has a longer shelf life than the super heavies. The super heavies are going to be here for a little bit, and then they're probably going to go away, kind of like the ninjas. But this card with branded or with Sword Soul and Nabisthios and Dragon Link and all these decks that it helps. This card could be around for a long time. We think it's a great choice to be a Starlight. Love it. That's kind of what the idea, what we put into the cards that we thought were going to be a Starlight. That's our reasoning. But these are the cards that we think are going to be a Starlight. We're writing it down. We're putting our name on it and saying, we believe these. If you're not willing to do that, don't stand there after the set came out and said, oh, I knew that was going to be a Starlight. No, you didn't know jack. If you're not willing to put your name on it, then you can't say you knew it. We're putting our name on it. Here we go. My name is Todd from Kotu Cards, and I am out of here. We're going to do a video tomorrow and the next day because I got a backlog of videos that we want to do, and we're trying to get them out as quickly as possible. So I'll catch you later on the next one.